Breaking news, Tanzania has announced that they will stop using the American dollar for everything. Now, Samia Hassan is the first female president of Tanzania in East Africa, and she has said that they will no longer use the American dollar. She's following the footsteps of leaders like Ibrahim Traore with the goal of making Africa self-sufficient without relying on foreign help. Now, I had made a video where 11 countries had stopped using the American dollar, where one of them was Russia and the other one was Ukraine. And now Tanzania is following those steps as well, as they have stopped using that currency fully. And the world was shocked when they heard that Ukraine stopped using the American dollar, the same guy that they are trying to borrow money from. And you know, when I hear the first female president of an African country, the second name that comes to mind is Netumbo Nandi, and they are a bit alike. Netumbo Nandi also said that all Americans entering the country of Namibia will require visas and an interview, and if they fail, they will have to be deported, which she actually acted upon with deporting over 500 American citizens from Namibia. Let me know, is there another African leader you think is this great, or you think is stepping up against oppression and prejudice?
Take a look at this. The Tanzanian President Hassan have officially banned the use of foreign currencies, including US dollars, pounds, euros, while doing local transactions in Tanzania. Now, for those of us who don't know Tanzania, Tanzania is a beautiful country located in East Africa here. So starting from now, they will no longer making use of foreign currencies while doing local transactions in Tanzania. So they will start making use of their own local currencies, named Tanzanian shillings, starting from now. So what do you think about this? You can see the freedom, you can hear the freedom, you can smell the freedom all over Africa. Real freedom, not independence. Real freedom. This is what is happening. Let United States citizens make use of their dollars, while Tanzanians make use of their local currency is supposed to be Tanzanian shillings. This is what is happening. You can see these female leaders, presidents here in Africa, they are actually doing us proud. While the male are still Western puppets all over Africa. You can see the freedom. So what do you think about this? Share your thoughts on the comments section. Don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also follow me on Facebook here for more updates like this. Shalom.
Guys, congratulations to Tanzania. Congratulations to Tanzania. Tanzania has just banned the use of all foreign currencies in their country. You know, I think now it's just them and South Africa that have this law in place in Africa. Because, yeah, it's just them and South Africa. Because South Africa also, they don't allow dollars. You cannot trade in dollars in South Africa. It's only with rands. So, congratulations to my Tanzania people. This is a very, very important short rule. I give you people just 2 years because you can put this law now and Uncle Trump just put a law now. Maybe you remove, you get scared and cancel the law. But I'm telling you people, if you people keep this law in place, in time to come, your currency will be one of the best currencies in Africa, just like the South African rand. So congratulations to my Tanzanian people. Congratulations to you people for adoption in this law. They cannot be telling us every single time that their currency can be used in our own country, whereas we also cannot use our own currency in their country. You understand? All African countries is supposed to impose this law. So congratulations to my Tanzania people. Congratulations to them. Just share me what you guys think under the comment section.
While the world grapples with inflation and debt dependency, one African nation is standing tall. Tanzania, under the bold leadership of President Samia Suluhu Hassan, has just drawn a red line. No more US dollars for local transactions, she declares. But what does this mean for the East African giant? And for Africa at large? This is not just a monetary policy, it's a bold statement of sovereignty. This is Africa rising. In a decisive move in early 2025, Tanzania officially banned the use of the US dollar in domestic transactions. The announcement came from the Bank of Tanzania, following clear directives from President Suluhu's administration. From real estate deals to hotel bookings, car sales to school fees, Tanzanian businesses must now conduct transactions strictly in Tanzanian shillings. No exceptions, no gray areas. The government has begun strict enforcement. Hotels charging in dollars are now being fined. Tour operators are being audited. Even foreign investors are being reminded, you do business in Tanzania, you transact in shillings. So why this bold move? To understand, we must go deeper. First, Tanzania is facing a dollar shortage crisis, partly due to global economic instability and high demand for the greenback across Africa. Importers were struggling to access dollars. The black market was thriving. This pushed up the cost of goods and weakened the Tanzanian shilling. Second, President Suluhu's government wants to protect the sovereignty of Tanzania's economy. When your economy relies on foreign currency for local transactions, you are no longer in full control. Third, the misuse of dollars has encouraged tax evasion, capital flight, and money laundering. By banning dollars in local markets, the government is tightening its grip on financial discipline and transparency. And finally, there's a bigger vision: economic de-dollarization. Tanzania wants to join a new League of Nations, one that values its own currency, one that builds faith in local systems, one that dares to say no to economic colonization. The response? Mixed, but telling. Local economists are applauding the move as a step toward monetary independence. Small businesses, once forced to buy dollars at inflated rates just to stay competitive, are breathing a sigh of relief. And ordinary citizens? They're beginning to trust the Tanzanian shilling once again. But let's be clear, the road won't be easy. Some sectors, like tourism and mining, have grown dependent on dollar transactions. There are fears of investor hesitation, and enforcing the ban in rural or informal markets could prove difficult. But as one Tanzanian economist put it, you cannot build a strong nation on a weak foundation. You cannot shout independence when your economy bows to foreign currency. Tanzania is not alone. Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Ghana, and Nigeria have all flirted with or implemented policies to reduce dependence on the US dollar. There's a growing realization: Africa cannot rise while chained to currencies it does not print. This bold step by Tanzania could ignite a new wave of Pan-African economic sovereignty. A movement where the shilling, the naira, the cedi, and the rand are no longer second class in their own countries. This is not just about money. It's about power, dignity, freedom. President Samia Suluhu Hassan may have just changed the game. She's not just leading a country, she's sending a message to a continent. Africa does not need permission to believe in itself, to rise, to rule, and to own its destiny. Will other nations follow? Will this spark a monetary revolution? One thing is certain: Africa is powerful, and Tanzania has just reminded the world: Africa is not waiting to be saved. Africa is saving itself.
My people, Ibrahim Traore is winning. This is good news. Tanzania is actually doing away with the use of US dollars. You won't believe that these African leaders are following the footsteps of Ibrahim Traore. Samia Suluhu, the president of Tanzania, has actually said the currency of his country is actually depreciating, and that's why she wants to do away with the use of US dollars and work upon on the currency of her own country. And let me tell you, African leaders are now waking up. This is a good move. Thank you, Sir Ibrahim Traore, because if not you, these African leaders won't wake up. You can imagine. And let me tell you, this should continue to other countries. And believe you me, Russia has done away with the US dollars. Ukraine has done away with the US dollars. These countries are not using the US dollars anymore. And other more countries, because at the moment we have more than 11 countries that has banned the use of the US dollars. And let me tell you, things are boiling nicely. I don't know what the US people or the US government will gonna do, because at this point Africans are waking up, and other countries that are beyond Africa, the West won't believe.
A major breaking news coming from Tanzania. The Tanzanian president joined hands with Captain Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso president, Now, the Tanzanian president decided to ban the use of US dollars and other foreign currency for local transactions. Africans have praised Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan for taking the brave and decisive move of interdicting foreign currencies, especially the US dollars, which is dominant in the African country economy. She decided to join hands with Captain Ibrahim Traore to help push the United States of Africa agenda amidst West's influence and economic destabilization on the continent of Africa, and also call all African countries to stand against the Western influence. No more use of US dollars and foreign currency in Tanzania. This is the latest update from Tanzania.
Breaking news, Tanzania just banned US dollar for local transaction. And this is a great news. Every African country should follow the step. And some African countries are following the step. They are dropping American dollar for their local currency, so their local currency can be strong. This is what we expect every African country to do. African child, have you all heard that African countries are dropping the dollar? And this is a good news. We have been tied to the dollar for too long, controlled by a system that does not serve us. But guess what? It is time that all African countries abandon this dollar. Our wealth is our power, and our wealth is tied in our currency. You don't supposed to tie in somebody or a colonial master's currency. Africa, it is time to rise. The revolution is our economy, which is a single currency. The revolution is political, which is a single political power. The revolution is unity.
The US dollar is now starting to be banned in certain countries. Now this means in these specific countries, you cannot use US dollars anymore. They will look at that currency and it is not a valid currency. It will be the equivalent of trying to buy things with monopoly money. And they say the reason they're doing this is because they'd like to break away from the US dollar and have their own currency more valuable.
In a seismic shift that has sent shockwaves through the corridors of global power, Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has taken a courageous and revolutionary step, banning the use of the US dollar and other foreign currencies for domestic transactions effective July 1st, 2024. This audacious move places her firmly in the ranks of Africa's boldest and most visionary leaders, alongside Burkina Faso's Captain Ibrahim Traore and Namibia's newly inaugurated President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. Together, these three lions of African sovereignty are rewriting the continent's economic and political narrative, striking a resounding blow against the shackles of neo-colonialism and Western economic hegemony. Their actions signal a new era of African self-determination, one that prioritizes the dignity and prosperity of their people over the interests of foreign powers. President Samia Suluhu Hassan's decision to ban the US dollar in domestic transactions is nothing short of a declaration of economic independence. By mandating the use of the Tanzanian shilling, TZS, for all local commerce, her administration aims to dismantle the corrosive effects of dollarization, which has long undermined Tanzania's monetary sovereignty. Dollarization, a legacy of Western economic dominance, has weakened local currencies across Africa, eroded confidence in national economies and fueled inflation and dependency on foreign financial systems. By outlawing this practice, Samia is reclaiming control over Tanzania's economic destiny, ensuring that the wealth generated within its borders circulates in its own currency, strengthening local markets and empowering Tanzanian businesses and citizens. This policy is a direct challenge to the United States and its economic stranglehold on the global South. While these sentiments reflect the growing Pan-Africanist fervor, the reality is even more profound. By prioritizing the Tanzanian shilling, Samia is not only bolstering her nation's economy, but also sending a clear message to the world. Africa will no longer be a playground for Western financial manipulation. This is a slap in the face to the likes of Donald Trump, whose administration's aggressive trade policies and tariffs have sought to tighten America's grip on African economies. Samia's policy is a defiant rebuke, asserting that Tanzania will chart its own course, free from the dictates of Washington. The timing of Samia's bold move is no coincidence. Just weeks ago, on March 21st, 2025, she attended the historic inauguration of Namibia's first female president, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, in Windhoek. The event, which coincided with Namibia's 35th independence anniversary, was attended by a constellation of African leaders. Amid the pomp and ceremony, whispers of a private meeting between Samia and Nandi-Ndaitwah have fueled speculation of a strategic alliance. Sources close to the Tanzanian presidency suggest that the two leaders, both trailblazers in their own right, held a candid discussion about the urgent need for African nations to break free from Western economic and political influence. This clandestine conversation appears to have galvanized Samia's resolve. Inspired by Nandi-Ndaitwah's fearless leadership and her unapologetic stance against historical injustices, Samia returned to Dar es Salaam with a renewed sense of purpose. The ban on the U-scaled formatting, the resulting output is too large to be processed in a single go. I'll need to break it down into manageable parts. Namibia's President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, sworn in on March 21st, 2025, has wasted no time in proving herself a formidable force. Dubbed the Lioness of the Kalahari, Nandi-Ndaitwah has taken bold steps to assert Namibia's sovereignty and position it as a key player in the global energy market. One of her most significant moves has been the restructuring of the country's oil and gas sector, placing it under direct presidential oversight. This reorganization, prompted by increasing international interest in Namibia's offshore oil discoveries since Total Energies and Shell's initial finds in 2022, aims to streamline operations and maximize efficiency. While some discoveries have been deemed non-commercial, the potential for oil production remains a game-changer for Namibia, a sparsely populated nation of just 3 million people. Nandi-Ndaitwah's restructuring is a masterstroke of strategic governance. By bringing the oil ministry under her direct control, she ensures that Namibia's natural resources benefit its people, not foreign corporations. This move echoes the resource nationalism championed by leaders like Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traoré, who has prioritized domestic control over Burkina Faso's gold sector. Nandi-Ndaitwah's vision is clear. Namibia's oil wealth will not be siphoned off by Western multinationals, but will instead fuel economic growth, infrastructure development, and social welfare programs for Namibians. Nandi-Ndaitwah's boldness extends beyond economic reforms. She has fearlessly confronted Namibia's colonial past, demanding a formal apology and reparations from Germany for the genocide of the Herero and Nama peoples between 1904 and 1908. This dark chapter in history saw tens of thousands of Namibians killed or displaced under German colonial rule, and Nandi-Ndaitwah's call for accountability has resonated across Africa. Her demand is not merely symbolic. It is a powerful assertion of African dignity and a challenge to the global North's historical amnesia. By holding Germany accountable, Nandi-Ndaitwah is setting a precedent for other African nations to seek justice for